Okay, good morning. I'm Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, and I want to thank you for joining me today for an important announcement about our ongoing fight to end the opioid crisis in New York. I am proud to be here today with a terrific coalition of leaders in our fight against the drug epidemic. Our host today, Kate Rotowski of the Tile Pharmacy, a great partner in all of our efforts to pursue justice, Erie County District Attorney John Flynn, Senator Tim Kennedy, Assembly Member Monica Wallace, Town of Cheektowaga Supervisor Diane Benchkowski. We also are joined by Pastor Mark Blue of the NAACP Buffalo branch, Avi Israel, a great ally and hero in the struggle against the opioid epidemic, of Save the Michaels of the world and Save the Michaels House of Hope, along with others who work with those fine organizations, and Brian Smith of the Citizens Campaign for the Environment. Ladies and gentlemen, the opioid epidemic is wreaking havoc all across America, and we, as I will discuss, have taken what's called an all-levers approach to trying to deal with this crisis. Here in New York State, we have made progress, but there is always much more to do. Tomorrow is National Drug Take-Back Day, sponsored nationwide by the Federal Drug Enforcement Agency. National Take-Back Day gives people a chance to safely dispose of unneeded medications. Here in New York, we're paving the way for a more successful Take-Back Day by launching a new initiative called Operation Clear Your Cabinet. Operation Clear Your Cabinet is an important step to making sure that New Yorkers have the tools they need to get rid of medications they don't need. Drug takebacks are a critical part of ending the opioid crisis because 4 out of 5 new heroin users started out by misusing prescription drugs, according to the American Society of Addiction Medicine. And a majority of young people who misuse prescription opioids were given them for free by a relative or a friend. Just having these unused pills in your medicine cabinet is an invitation to abuse. So getting prescription drugs out of the home is really an important way to stop addiction before it even starts. So that is why we have worked to try and improve our results in National Drug Take-Back Day by setting up Operation Clear Your Cabinet. We have a new website, www.clearyourcabinet.com, to give New Yorkers the tools they need to get medications out of their home. This website was built by grassroots volunteers working with our office. We met with people in the tech community, folks who work at tech startups, and held a hackathon, and then produced the most comprehensive and accurate list and the most comprehensive and accurate website listing take-back sites all across New York State. Before this, there were a variety of very confusing lists, and there were a lot of sites listed that did not even accept prescription medications. We cleaned that all up with Operation Clear Your Cabinet. We have a searchable map online that shows dozens of take-back sites throughout the Buffalo area, from pharmacies to police stations to school campuses. You can even sign up on the website to get text or email reminders when and where to turn in your meds, when the next Take-Back Day is. Again, that's clearyourcabinet.com. And remember, all of these take-back sites will accept any prescription or over-the-counter medication with no questions asked. And as soon as you get your notice of a reminder, all of your information is automatically deleted. So please, we're urging everyone, go to your medicine cabinet, look to see if you have any prescriptions you don't need anymore, or if you recently had a family member pass away or move to an assisted living facility, you're not sure what to do with their pills, bring them to one of the dozens of sites in the Buffalo area or the hundreds of sites statewide. We've seen that these take-back days really do make a difference. Last year, more than 450 tons of prescriptions were turned over nationwide, and that includes more than 42,000 pounds here in New York. That is the same weight as 7 heavy-duty pickup trucks. For some perspective, the largest drug bust in the history of my office took in about 70 pounds of drugs Operation Clear Your Cabinet on this Drug Take Back Day could help us net 600 times that in unwanted prescriptions in one day. So we urge everyone to go to the website and take advantage of Drug Take Back Day. And I would like to note, not only does this get unwanted drugs out of the system and prevent addiction, but it will also keep people from polluting our waterways if people flush the drugs down the drain. One of the great things about the Clear Your Cabinet website is that if you're busy tomorrow, you can also use the site to find locations that accept drop-offs year-round, including our friends here at Tile Pharmacy right behind us. Now, I should note that this is one part of our all levers approach. Operation Clear Your Cabinet, Drug Take Back Days by themselves are not going to solve this problem, but we have, working with our partners in government and law enforcement, pursued a multi-lever approach that is having success. A year ago, we launched the Surge Initiative to focus our organized crime task force's resources on the communities that have been hardest hit by drug trafficking. Addiction and overdose rates are often twice as high in small towns and cities around New York State compared to New York City, so we redeployed our resources to address this. The Surge Initiative has already resulted in the arrest of more than 300 drug dealers across the state, hitting them with more than 1,000 charges, including operating as a major trafficker and conspiracy to commit murder. We only target dealers. People struggling with addiction will never be the targets of the Surge Initiative or any other investigation by our office. But we also know that we can't arrest our way out of this crisis. So we focused on treatment, interdiction, and education, as well as enforcement. We've obtained settlements with major national and global health insurers, including Cigna and Anthem, to remove barriers to life-saving treatment for opioid use disorder. Our iStop drug monitoring system, which was developed because of our interaction with activists like Avi Israel and others in this community, is the best prescription tracking system in the country, providing doctors and pharmacists with patients' up-to-date controlled substance prescription history. It reduced doctor shopping by more than 90%, according to the State Department of Health. Our community overdose prevention program distributed more than 27,000 kits of the life-saving anti-overdose medicine naloxone to first responders across the state. We've cracked down on pill mills and put health insurers on notice that they must treat mental health issues fairly. And we continue to work with District Attorney Flynn and other colleagues in law enforcement and addiction specialists to find new ways to address this incredibly important fight. This fight is hard, it is urgent, but together with the people who are standing with us today, this amazing coalition, we are going to solve this problem. We are going to make progress. So please visit clearyourcabinet.com to find a safe, anonymous drop-off site near you. And thank you to everyone who participates in Drug Take Back Day for your help in combating this crisis. And now I want to introduce a terrific colleague in law enforcement, a forward-thinking prosecutor who is engaged as anyone in the efforts to root out the causes of the opioid epidemic, District Attorney John Flynn.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and I want to thank the Attorney General and everyone behind me for all they do for this epidemic and all they do to make our community safer. You know, if you think about it, a prosecutor's role historically has always been reactive. We get a case, we prosecute it. The Attorney General has more jurisdiction than I do, so if something bad happens, he can prosecute it and he can file a civil lawsuit as well. But if you look at that business model, that is a reactive model. The Attorney General and myself believe that prosecutors can be proactive as well as reactive. And Attorney General Schneiderman and I believe in being proactive. Pill buyback days, turn-in days, the website that he's launching, these are proactive measures that the Attorney General has initiated across this state and in our community. And for that, I applaud him. I look forward to working with him in this endeavor, and anything that I can do to help make our streets safe and to save lives, because both of them are not mutually exclusive. You can do both at the same time. You can save lives and you can be tough on crime and keep the streets safe. The Attorney General believes that. I believe that. I look forward to working with him and everyone behind me in this endeavor. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And before we go any further, I want to hear a few words from our host today, Katie Rutowski from the Tile Pharmacy. Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie Rutowski. I'm one of the pharmacists here at Tile Pharmacy. And first, I'd like to thank the Attorney General for coming to Cheektowaga today to announce tomorrow's Drug Take-Back Day. Recently at Tile Pharmacy, we have installed a drug take-back box in conjunction with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation so that drugs can be returned year-round that are unneeded. And medications that are unneeded and left in cabinets can be dangerous, and flushing them down the water supply, as was said, it can also harm our water supply. So if you don't have time to come by to one of the drop-off sites tomorrow, stop by year-round, and we have a box that you can drop off unwanted medications anonymously and easily. So thank you again, and I'll turn it back over to the Attorney General.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And now another terrific ally in this important struggle, Pastor Mark Blue.
Let's say to the Attorney General, thank you for allowing this opportunity to come. In 2009, my mother passed away of cancer. And although we had hospice there, we were wondering how are we going to remove the drugs and the morphine and things of that nature that's all involved in taking care of a loved one who was in hospice. How are we going to get rid of those things? The hospice nurse, they had a plan together to remove those drugs from the house. But I'm glad now that the question has been in my mind, how are we going to do it, has now been solved. We are going to work with you. We're going to have the website posted on our link for our website for the NAACP on our Facebook page to let others know that they can now safely remove drugs and other prescription drugs that are no longer needed. So again, to the Attorney General and to all of our partners here, we are standing with you to make sure that we clean up this opioid problem and also make our homes and our streets safer. So thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Sorry about that. Paper. And now someone who has really dedicated himself to this cause and really speaks for a lot of the folks who are here with us today who have lost loved ones, and instead of retreating, taken that pain and used it as inspiration to give back to the community and dedicate themselves to ensuring that no one else unnecessarily ever loses a loved one again. Our friend Avi Israel.
Thank you, Mr. Schneiderman. 8 years ago, I had mouth surgery, and I was prescribed Vicodin. I only used a couple of them and left them in the medicine cabinet, not thinking that my son Michael, who was prescribed into addiction for Crohn's disease, was going to use it. At one night, he told me that he ran out of pills, and I said, Mike, I know that there's a prescription in the medicine cabinet. Let me get it, and I can help you with that. And he said, no, Dad, I used them all already. It's a great example how somebody who fell into addiction can use something that you thought that it was not going to harm anybody, and it was left there. When you leave controlled substance in your medicine cabinet or out in the open, it's like leaving a loaded gun on the kitchen table and inviting somebody to take their life. In my case, my son who was addicted put a shotgun under his chin and took his life. Let's make sure that the community understands that opiate addiction is not the same as alcohol, it's not the same as cigarette, it's not the same of any other addiction. It doesn't gradually take place. Opiate addiction is like falling off a cliff today. And if we don't do something about it as a family and a community and state officials, we are going to lose more and more people. I thank you, sir, for taking this initiative. I thank everybody who's around here for being part of this. And I think it's up to us to make sure that everybody stays alive. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here. I know there's some folks who have to get on to other events. If you have any on-topic questions, direct them to Eric Seufert. Identify yourself and your outlet, and we'll try and answer your questions. No? Thank you very much. We're going to... Avi?
So Save the Michaels is doing something that is trying to keep people alive. What we do is when you call for help, we make sure that you are connected to treatment facilities at times within 1 hour to 2 hours, at the latest 24 hours. We make sure that family is connected to support services, and we make sure that after treatment you are connected with support services, because going to treatment for 28 days and coming back out does not solve the problem. It's just the beginning of a life. We provide the support for you to continue a long and fruitful life.
Thank you. Off-topic questions. Yeah, we have issued almost a year and a half ago the first guidance for local governments on how you can comply with federal law while seeking to protect immigrants in your community. The objective is to ensure that no state or local entity is violating federal law, but we want to ensure that they also have maximum flexibility to determine how they should deal with requests from the federal immigration authorities. There are places in New York State with huge immigrant populations where local law enforcement is of the view that it makes us far less safe to have the immigrant community perceive local law enforcement or local public agencies as arms of immigration enforcement. It discourages victims from coming forward, witnesses from coming forward, people with public health issues from coming forward. So we've sought to ensure that the power to make these determinations is in the hands of the local governments, and there have been reported problems of federal agents without the appropriate documentation, without the appropriate warrants, going into facilities that are seeking to provide that protection. Again, it's all to be done consistent with federal law. So, the governor's order is another step towards doing this, but again, it is an effort to find that right balance and also empower the government actors who know best how to keep their communities safe to make those judgments wherever they can while complying with the law. No, it's something that if there are challenges to it, then we would seek to address those in court. But we won't be enforcing it. It's something that the local governments, if there is a violation of the order, will report it and action will be taken. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you all.